Hello everyone. It is currently 22:32 or 10:32 at night. Today is Wednesday, August 22nd, 2018. The night is upon us. The day has fully ended. We have finished our meals, finished our time together, and are preparing to rest. Tomorrow we shall awaken once more and begin a new cycle of our day. In some ways, this may feel like we're being bound, may feel like we're being stuck, unable to continue. And that is what tonight's discussion is about. For tonight is Wednesday, and every Wednesday I would like to do one of the many cards of the tarot. I would love to do, once after the tarot, the runes. This will be done in a random order, almost. Sort of the card that I resonate with on the specific day, or a card I draw at random. And it's just going to be a discussion about the specific card, my experiences, what I know about it, what it means, and what it could mean for you, and that's what we shall discuss. Move my stuff on my runes, move them away, put my rosary down, and I have my book. Today we shall be looking at the glory of the sword, or glory of air, or the Eight of Swords. There are many words, many names, many words, many meanings for this card. You can't see this page, but this page is part of a set of pages I myself wrote, combining knowledge from different sources. I have stuff on meditation, stuff on the Hebrew association in the Sephiroth and the Kabbalah, the astrology associated with the card, the numerology, alchemical belief, and the magic, the mysticism, the spirituality of the card, as well as the actual divination of the card as the tarot itself, for reflection, meditation, inspiration. So let us start at the top. This is the Eight of Swords. It correlates to the four eights, which make up the Sephirothic sphere of Hod, or glory, connected to the planet of Mercury, planet of Gemini and Virgo, of communication, of clarity, of strength, of freedom. This is also one of the two that connect directly to Yesod, or the moon. This reflects the discipline. This reflects discipline, but also the weakness that discipline does not give. What is required to break free, to allow one's mental self, their mental energy, to manifest, to grow and change, to express itself, and to grow. Mystically, the Eight of Swords is used in mysticism, sort of to do the opposite of what it represents from the tarot. It represents the idea of bringing about liberation and clarity. The spirit of the card is invoked in mysticism to invoke breaking of the swords around you, lifting the blindfold from your eyes so you may see the water, and giving you the clarity and strength to take that first step. And this represents the end of the final part of that part of the story. That is what the sword, the Eight of Swords, represents. The card itself is the isolation, binding, loss, feeling stuck, feeling unable to move. The artwork shows a woman surrounded by swords with only one way to go, that way being water. But she is wrapped and bound, in some cases bound by 8 threads, with the 8th being the blindfold around her eyes. The swords prevent her from being able to cross anywhere else except into the water. If she were to remove the blindfold, she would be able to see that the water is not impossible for her to pass, that she could walk free. But the clarity to remove the blindfold would require her to remove the bindings around her arms and legs first. So, the card with the sword has a negative context. It represents someone who is unwilling to sacrifice or unwilling to step back and think before they feel stuck. They feel bound against their will, unable to move, unable to continue. It is a card of exhaustion and a card of being, well, just bound in general. I know some people in the spiritual community who will actually use the card in the reverse sense instead for negative aspects, to try and invoke the spirits to negatively affect the other person, to bind the person, to leave them stuck. But more commonly, I've seen people use the card as a way to help a person through the tarot to find clarity, to step towards that pond, or with magic, or with the mysticism of the spirits, to break the bonds, to allow them to see clearly themselves, for blessings of clarity. And it was that term of clarity is what inspired me to pick this card today. So, isolation, binding. When reversed, freedom, acceptance, willingness to change. It doesn't seem like much on its own. And it reflects, of course, from the Sephiroth, it reflects glory, ironically enough. The Eight of Swords represents glory being stopped, the stopping of glory, and what is needed to truly find glory is to break those bindings, remove the blindfold, and take the step forth. It is to draw upon the mental energy for what is called the splendorous manifestation, to manifest and break the bonds. To truly be able to, through the mental energy, bring about clarity of self and understanding. And the alchemy, of course, is that this is the discipline. This is disciplining the physical aspect of the element. It is part of the requirement for the manifestation. To manifest the element physically, the element being the alchemical work. This card is part of that process. This card is part of the process of the actual... Sorry, I'm trying to point towards it. This card is part of the actual disciplining it, controlling it, molding it. You're molding aspects of it before it can become physical. For this specific part, it is molding it by giving it that clarity, by being able to give it free thinking, freedom of air. So, at this point, really the discussion itself is over. That is the card. That is aspects of the card of different mentalities and different aspects. Like I said, many see it as glory. In other ways, it can also be seen as discipline. It is the discipline that, with another set of cards, is able to give about the foundation for growth, the foundation for development. So at this point, I'm going to, for my personal deck, this is a personal deck that was a gift from a friend. I'm going to go through, find mine. I'm going to ask that we just, for a few minutes, sit down together, all of us, and meditate on the card. If you have your own, feel free to grab it and meditate yourself. Alright. I have my own, and like I said, it's my personal deck of meditation. It's not a deck for actual divinations for anyone or helping anyone reflect. I have a deck for that. That's for that purpose. However, it's just not this one. So I have my version. I'm now for a few minutes just going to sit here and reflect on the card. Reflect on myself. Am I, as the card has, am I being bound? Am I stuck where I'm at? Unwavering and unwilling to remove my blindfolds and my bindings to see if there's to see the solution. Breathe in. And out. Feel the energy of the card. This card carries the symbol of Mercury, the planet, the consciousness and spirit of the planet, the glory, the discipline, what just recently came out of retrograde. And it draws upon the mental energy of the person to call upon it. Feel the spirit and feel what it, the many spirits and gods who have been associated with it. Hermes, Mercury, of course. Many others, of course. Odin. Spirits of knowledge, spirits of clarity, of wisdom, and just focus. All right. I have looked upon the card with my inner eye. I have looked upon my life through the eyes of the card, through the eyes of the spirit. The spirit of the Eight of Swords, of the air of Mercury, of the glorious winds of clarity. One of the names I've actually used to try before is the glorious winds of clarity, actually. And what I have seen is that, yes, I am bound where I'm at right now. Sorry. Fiance just spoke in the background. I am bound where I am, but I am beginning to loosen up the bindings. I feel them loosening. I feel the blindfold beginning to fall off. So, now I open up the discussion to you, my friends. If you guys know anything you would love to add, I'd love to hear it. I would love to be able to add more to the knowledge of the specific card. If there's anything you would love to share that you may yourself have experienced and reflected, I'd love to hear that too. Let us all reflect and discuss together, meditate on the card, sleep on meditation of the card, and tomorrow gather back together for the morning prayer or meditation. Until then, let us rest, let us relax, let us prepare for the night, my friends.